Hey guys, Eric Cogorno here with Performance Golf, and I'm out here today with one of the top golf coaches in the world, Mr. Rick Smith. Rick, thanks for being out here, man.
Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate you. If you don't know Rick by now, Rick has been all over the world. He's been coaching on tour for literally over 40 years. Worked with some of the best golfers ever. We're talking Jack Nicklaus, Phil Mickelson, Rocco, Mediate, Lee Jansen. The list is long, or else I would name them all out here. But phenomenal coach. And in today's video, we're gonna go over and reveal what's really most important about the golf swing and what makes the biggest difference about solid, consistent contact. There's three biggies that we see pop up all the time and one thing that's gonna fix all three of them. So Rick, as I sort of tee up here,
Sure.
I heard Rick make a statement that 20% of the swing, right? 20% of the swing leads to what, 80% of the results? Is that how it works?
Absolutely. Everybody's working backwards. And so when you think of it that way, it's really taking the greatest players that ever lived and how similar they look from here to here. And that's what this is all about.
Well, let's guide us through it, baby. So Rick, we've got a drill and a thing, sort of theme here called the why to why, which controls that.
Well, it starts off like this, right? I mean, if I start with a club here and I make my first move off the ball, and then I were to go to here, that's the second why. There's a why here, there's a why here. And then things get messed up on the other 80%, it disrupts that. So our whole objective is here's our objective, and then it starts to make sense because we know there's three things that happen, right?
Yeah.
There's a really poor mismatch here, here, here. I mean, they're poor from here to here.
Totally.
There's nothing matching up. And the second thing is we see this uncocking of the wrist, this early release syndrome, right? It's awful. I mean, it's like an epidemic, right? Totally. And everybody's trying to get into all these places at impact. It's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
So we got to fix that. And then the other thing is people are looking at perfection, and it's like of a swing that's pretty looking, that's not effective. So it's like, it's really important that we understand the first part though, right?
Yep.
We're here and we're understanding, how do I get that? We're teasing some people here.
Yeah, I like that, Rick. And even just at the most basic level, like what is the why? Is it the arms in the club? Like we're looking at when we say the why to why, this is sort of this shape you're creating with the arms and the shaft there.
And then as we go to post-impact, the second why is here that every great player is doing. If you're slicing it, you may want to turn the shaft down a little bit. The point is, it works with different grips. I mean, you can have a strong grip as long as we go, I could be like this, and if my first Y is good here with the face opening up, and I go to the second Y here, it doesn't matter how you're holding onto the club at that point. So the point is it's versatile.
If you look at good golfers, right, what the best golfers do from hip high to hip high, and you guys have seen this, they're very similar from that hip high through the ball. They may get there a lot of different ways, right? But what Rick is saying, they're all basically the same through the ball. And that's the 20% of the swing that really controls 80% of what matters. So instead of focusing on the rest of the stuff, let's focus on that. Rick, if I was to hop in there, let's flip over for one second.
Absolutely.
And someone gets that concept, right?
Yeah.
They say, hey, Rick, let's say they understand conceptually what they're supposed to do, but how the heck do I feel it? You've got this really cool drill, right, with the club and the belt.
And what's great about this, it's going to indicate a better Y back and a better Y through, and then we're gonna hit some punch shots feeling that. So let's go ahead and put that on your belt. Choke down so that you've got a great triangle here with the arms hanging down to the shaft. And now you're just gonna make a little baby pivot back. You'll feel arms, there's your first Y. And then from there, you can break off a little up, and then we're gonna hit some punch shots. We go ahead and go through, weight moves left, there's your second Y. Notice the Y, that beautiful, and you can even go to here if you want. Show me a good post-impact that shows me that baby Y forward, and we don't see this with poor players. We see this with great players. There. Notice the handle still to your middle of your body, chest is pointing down to the forward ball. You got a beautiful Y created. Look at where your weight is. Where is it?
Yeah, all the way forward.
Yeah, so you're basically getting a sense. Now, how do we take that and hit a shot? We hit a baby punch shot. And I'm talking 60, 70-yard shot, getting that sense and feel.
Let me ask you one or two feels based on this, then I'll hit one, Rick.
Sure.
So if I was doing this for the first time, I actually am glad you said that. I really like adding that little forward ball in for reference of where to get to. So when you guys are practicing this, I've got an 8 iron here. Short iron, to start with?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to put this in
8
my
iron, 9 iron.
Yeah, something short. I'll put this in my belt loop, add the ball in. Add the ball in front. I like that visual a lot. And I'm gripped down here sort of at the end of the grip. And I'm going to make a little motion here, Rick. And when I do the motion, it feels like I sort of stop here where, I don't know, the club's on a 45-degree angle-ish.
Right.
And then you're saying, okay, I can let it disconnect to get into club parallel to the ground.
Absolutely.
And then when I get back through impact, is the sensation almost like, hey, the club head's over that ball, and the grip almost is back at me.
Absolutely. It's not all this forward lean,
way over here.
and it's not scoop.
So it's not behind me.
Exactly, and that's what most people do.
Okay, I like that. So I'm here, I'm disconnected, and then by the time you get back to the ball, the club, that's cool. So the club is over the ball for my visual.
And you've killed like 8 things here. Look at your body's rotated left. You're starting to put pressure inward on the foot, pushing left. You've got your arms extended, which we never see post-impact with the average player. I mean, scoopy rubber arm linguini, right?
Yeah.
So that first Y is key. The second Y is key, but don't hit giant shots like this. Let's start off, because in this spot, does that remind you of one of the greatest players that, and is the greatest player that ever lived? Jack Nicklaus picked out that spot?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
it was there for a reason.
And I think it's a cool visual for you guys when you're practicing to have an awareness of where you're trying to go to, right? Go through the ball, go through impact into that.
It's definitely not at the ball, it's through the ball. And that's the key.
So if I feel the same sensations, if I took that at my belt loops.
Absolutely.
As I'm doing the hit, what I feel is, it almost feels like as the grip moves, my belt buckle's moving.
Absolutely.
What I'm feeling, core. There's a little bit of width into here. And then I really like, Rick, me getting into a spot post-impact where the club is over the ball and this is sort of at my maybe left hip or at the middle of my body.
Yes.
Okay, I like that a lot.
You know what that is? It's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. We don't hit these little shots either. And people typically are poor chippers. So it's the same feeling, really, but you're hitting a baby punch shot. Go ahead and hit one and just feel that.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel that.
And again, the distance is maybe 80 yards max. So make it small and clean. See, and that's typically what'll happen. That thing went 120 yards and you're trying to hit it 80.
That's
pure. Because you hit it really solid.
Come on, let's wait for you.
Is that any good?
Yeah. I like that little because conceptually, I think people can wrap their mind around that fairly quickly, right?
And their short game's awful because they don't do the Y-to-Y. And their full swing's not good. Yeah. Their iron game's bad, their driver's bad. So,
yeah, and I think when we say to them, hey, listen, good players are good from hip high to hip high. You likely struggle there. Like, okay, check mark, I get that, Eric and Rick, cool. How do I fix it? What do I need to feel? And doing this with those feels, with the combination of the club in the belt buckles, your body has moved with it, and that visual pass impact, I think that's a great way to combine those. The whole concept of the 20% of your swing, I don't know if I'm butchering the way you said it, but basically the 20% of your swing.
Covering everything else.
Yeah, that's such a big concept. A lot of the things like this, I think as with life, you have to get the basic stuff correct first, and it's gonna make it easier for the rest of the swing.
I have great players do that. I've got the best players in the world doing these minis because they get off there too.
Yeah.
They slide too far, arms get messed up at impact, they get too much lean, you know, it depends on who it is, but the cool part is you can have any grip and really achieve that face to path and hit solid shots.
I think it's funny you say that. Ironically, I think the best players do more basic stuff more often, less fancy stuff. That's another little bomb to take home there. So for Rick Smith, like I mentioned, Rick has been coaching some of the best players in the world for a long period of time. You get drills like this that last 40 years, okay, that's not by accident. 20% of the swing controls 80% of the stuff there. That's so good. If you like this and you want more on this, because that's just a little tidbit, right? There's obviously more to it than that. Yeah. More drills, more feels. Rick actually went through and put together the perfect impact program. It's 50 videos on all this stuff that you can get for under $50. Let me say that again so you heard it correctly. 50 videos that you can get for under $50 with Rick Smith, who's been coaching some of the best players in the world for 40 years. And not only do you get that program to guide you through your own swing, you also get 30 days of online swing feedback with Rick and his team, absolutely free of charge. I mean, what an unbelievable deal. If they want to get better at golf, if you're interested in improving your game, don't wait anymore. You got to do something different. I'm telling you guys are going to love this program. We'll put that link in the description down below. It'll be the first one down there. If you guys have any questions, always leave a comment down below.
We can help people with their progress. That's what's never been done before, ever.
Yeah.
To see their swings on video, the way I do it with tour players, FaceTiming me and sending me videos. For the first time ever, people are going to be able to, we're going to monitor their progress and grade them as they go.
Very cool that you're doing that.
It's
Thank
cool
you guys
for
for
the
watching. That is cool. Thanks.